The disgraceful act of PayPal. PayPal is one of the biggest online money transferring platforms, with worldwide ties and millions of people across the globe using PayPal as their prime source of online banking. But we all know that companies on a multinational scale always have something heated up going on. Find out how PayPal got themselves into a serious backlash from netizens after a controversial tweet. But first, make sure to hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up while you're at it. Sure, internet is an amazing medium for fast communication, but sometimes it can act like a devil in disguise. PayPal faced some serious criticism from its online followers after its controversial policy update got out in public. Initially, the company posted about a fine on people spreading misinformation. PayPal then removed a clause from its policy that stated disseminating false material on the network would result in a $2,500 fine. After facing criticism earlier this month, users and political officials today still have questions about how the platform defines speech that is worthy of praise, and they're asking additional clarification of the terminology. Let's dive deeper into the entire story. According to the website archive, PayPal's user agreement has stated that any customer who violates the platform's approved use guideline is subject to a $2,500 fine since at least 2013. Prior to PayPal's amendment of its acceptable usage policy earlier this month, which said that messages that are fraudulent, promote misinformation, or are unlawful are in breach of the policy, and by consequence, subject to the punishment. The penalty had largely gone unreported. On Monday, October 10th, the firm removed the paragraph from the policy, citing misinformation, and issued a statement saying it was put in error after receiving harsh criticism from critics, who claimed the policy may restrict free speech. According to a corporate spokeswoman, PayPal is not fining people for misinformation, and this language was never intended to be inserted in our policy. Former PayPal president David Marcus was one of the critics, tweeting his disapproval of the policy change and receiving the agreed reply from Elon Musk. It is essential for multinational companies to give their employees enough freedom of speech that they can voice their concerns and can talk about any queries that might help the company improve and result in better productivity from the staff. According to the public view, it was unacceptable that PayPal imposed such a law on its staff. This statement pretty much took away the essence of it and claimed that anyone tied to the company cannot voice their opinion, which is almost insane. People in and out of the company took it all over the internet and addressed their concerns against the policy. Right-wing lawmakers in the US have long charged that influential tech companies restrict conservative viewpoints, according to Bloomberg Law News. According to the Washington Post, the recent backlash against PayPal shows how an increasing number of internet firms outside of social media giants are coming under fire for their user policies. PayPal's new AUP goes against everything I believe in, Marcus' tweet reads. A private company now gets to decide to take your money if you say something they disagree with. Insanity. The conservative organization Turning Point USA's chief creative officer and American political blogger Benny Johnson tweeted that social credit is coming to America. Account customers should bankrupt PayPal now, Johnson said. Prior to PayPal's clarification, Tim Scott, a Republican senator from South Carolina, stated that his office will investigate the policy's legality and take all necessary steps to prevent such corporate activism. Scott recently co-supported legislation sponsored by the GOP that targets Google over claims of bias in the company's email filtering methods. Although the disclaimer about inaccurate material was taken out of the appropriate guidelines, the $2,500 fine for violators is still there, raising more questions. Under the heading Restricted Activity, PayPal's website still lists give false, incorrect, or misleading information, even though breaking the restricted activities clause does not automatically result in the $2,500 fine that breaking the approved usage clause does. It may still have consequences including charges, account suspension, or other harsh actions. Let me walk you through the confusion from the top. Apparently, the company has two sets of documents or policies: PayPal's acceptable use policy and the user agreement. They are both operating on international standards and are well-thought rules and policies for a better work and user experience. The controversy was sparked because of the changes in the AUP. The new policy dramatically expands PayPal's power to take action against users for activity on the service involving disfavored speech. That includes any messages, content, or materials that, in PayPal's sole discretion, are harmful or objectionable, depict or even appear to depict nudity, depict, promote, or incite hatred or discrimination of protected groups, present a risk to a user's well-being, promote misinformation, or are, in PayPal's opinion, otherwise unfit for publication. This was elaborated and explained by FIRE. However, this week, speculations that the $2,500 punishment for disinformation was returning were all over the internet. But in the company's defense, providing misinformation is still not listed as a prohibited activity in PayPal's AUP. And there is no sign that the company has modified its policy since their 2-week-old retractions. It seemed like a case of tabloid journalism to bring down the popularity of PayPal by spreading incomplete information about the policies of the company. To the benefit of PayPal's rivals, internet worked exactly like the devil that they wanted. The news went viral and things became trending on Twitter. PayPal even ended up facing a massive loss over the course of a few hours, considering many people started canceling the app. The stocks came down, and the company faced a loss in its shares. To clarify or cover up the situation, PayPal soon launched a statement of the policy being in error. The policy and rules were later brought to light and were clarified by many analytics on the internet, including the company's staff. It's really a pre-existing clause in PayPal's user agreement that states users may not provide false, inaccurate, or misleading information in connection with their use of PayPal services or in their interactions with PayPal, other PayPal customers, or third parties. This clause varies from the proposed prohibition on promoting disinformation that PayPal decided not to include in its AUP and predates the dispute around the proposed modifications to the other policy, for example the AUP. PayPal would be well to update the agreement to make it clear that the user agreement section is primarily meant to prohibit fraudulent activities on the site, as opposed to restricting misinformation more generally. Users' expression is clearly stifled by PayPal's ambiguous restrictions, as well as its proposed adoption and subsequent withdrawal of even more restrictions. Both the AUP and the user agreement make it clear that the $2,500 penalties clause only applies to AUP breaches. Therefore, even if a user disobeys the AUP's prohibition on false, incorrect, or misleading information, it does not appear to invoke damages clause unless PayPal also finds that their user did so. PayPal may take additional action against the individual, such as suspending or closing their account. PayPal was able to cover up the blunder and mess after clarifying these rules to the masses. However, PayPal's current policies, which include ambiguous speech restrictions that are subject to a $2,500 liquidated damages provision, including certain oriented materials or services, and promotion of hate, violence, racial or other forms of intolerance that is discriminatory or the financial exploitation of a crime, still have a lot of room for improvement. Even though PayPal was able to get out of this situation, the clause still alarmed the masses, and just the fact that they deleted the statement made people question the credibility of the company. Big names like Elon Musk called out PayPal, causing further destruction of the company's reputation. If the clauses were not taken down or cleared up, it was likely that PayPal would have gone bankrupt by now. People would have withdrawn their accounts in mass numbers, and the staff would have indeed ended up spreading misinformation. But this is just PayPal's defensive side of the story. Even though the masses were told that they retracted their statement, many people on the internet claim that it is not the case. The law is still there, and PayPal can easily take legal action against anyone they think is going against the company, since they have used vague language and terms in their clause. The policy has not been removed, but in fact restated just to please the users, since the clause literally states that if the guidelines are violated, the company can take legal action against the person. There is no clear mention of the spread of misinformation, but if a case like that occurs, who knows what PayPal might do. Let us know in the comments below what you think of this controversy, and make sure to like, subscribe, and share this video.